Hey y'all, it's me again, Brooks Reads Books, getting back into the Aramaic and Palestinian Targum. It's I've never read it before, so I'm reading it fresh with you guys, and I figured for anybody who's driving or wanted to listen along, they'd have a verse by verse study of this book and all that stuff. So much love and light. Please, before I get started, I want to pray to my Lord that He leads and He guides me on my studies, and He blesses all those who listen to this and make this time for growing closer to our Father in Yeshua's precious name. All right. Starting at chapter 4 where we left off yesterday. And again, if I repeat something twice, it's because it has it in here twice, and I don't know if that's for emphasis or what, and that's how it was originally written. So right now I'm just treating it as it's for emphasis. So if I read something twice, it's not me reading it twice. It actually is in here twice. All right. And Adam knew Hava, his wife, Eve, who had desired the angel. Now, she desired the angel. So what are they talking about there? And she conceived and bare Cain, and she said, I have acquired a man, the angel of the Lord. And she added to bear from him her husband, Adam, his twin, even Habel. They pronounced in here instead of Abel, Abel, Habel, Habel. And Habel was a shepherd of the flock, but Cain was a man working in the earth. And it was at the end of days, on the 14th of Nisan, that Cain brought of the produce of the earth, the seed of cotton, an oblation of the first thing before the Lord. And Habel brought the firstling of his flocks and of their fat, and it was pleasing before the Lord. Now, I mean, all this is symbolic of so many things, but you notice that Cain didn't bring anywhere close to his best. He just, brought a seed of cotton. And in the other one, it says fruit, but he didn't bring the best of what he had. But Abel brought the best of what he had. It was not only his firstlings, but it was like the fattest among the firstlings. It was the best one he brought to the Lord. And he gave his countenance to Abel. He showed favor to Abel in his oblation. But to Cain in his oblation, he gave no countenance. And Cain was angered greatly, and the features of his face were downcast. God's not a respecter of men, You do well, you get paid well. You don't do well, you don't get paid well. That's like as simple as it is. I mean, as simple as it seems, that's how God is. And the Lord said to Cain, why hast thou anger? And why are thy features of thy face downcast? Why thou doest thy work well, will not thy guilt be forgiven thee? So he's feeling guilty because he's not doing well. But instead of dealing with his guilt because he's failing, he's trying to take it out on his brother. And I mean, that's what happens to all of us. When you don't do right, you have a law in your heart. You know that you're not doing right and you feel guilty, right? So when you feel that, do right. Okay? It's pretty simple, beloved. But if thou does not thy work well in this world, thy sin is retained unto the day of the great judgment. Everything's going to be judged one day. Everything. Like everything I did, everything you did, God knows, and it's going to be judged one day. And at the doors of thy heart lieth thy sin. Protect your heart. Protect what you feed it. Protect what you listen to. Protect what you're exposed to. Because your heart, what's in your heart, that's what you're going to do, So that's why God says, build up treasures in your heart. Build up proverbs in your heart. So you can you be full of good thoughts in your heart, good deeds in your heart, when outwardly that's what you're going to do. And into thy hand have I delivered the power over evil passion. God gave us the strength to conquer evil passion. And this is in life, I have been full of evil passion. And if I'm honest with myself, God gave me control over that. And so I have no excuse. No excuse. But with the power of Yeshua, we can do anything, guys. And unto thee shall be the inclination thereof, that thou mayest have authority over it, to become righteous, or to sin. And Cain said to Abel his brother, Come, let us two go forth into the field. And it was that when they two had gone forth into the field, Cain answered and said to Abel, I perceive that the world was created in goodness, but it is not governed or conducted according to the fruit of good works. For there is respect to persons in judgment. Therefore it is that thy offering was accepted, and mine not accepted with good will. And obviously Cain, he is disagreeing with God. Always a bad idea. Realize that we see through a glass dimly. God sees everything. When God tells us something, please take it to heart, because it's always truth. Abel answered and said to Cain, In goodness was the world created, and according to the fruit of the good works it is governed, and there is no respect of persons in judgment. But because the fruits of my works were better than thine, my oblation before thee hath been accepted with good will. Now, people who are envious, they read into truth so much. When somebody's envy because somebody could do something so much better than them, and then they make a clear statement that, they're better at that than them, the envious person, a lot of times in life just tends to fly off. Well, if somebody who wasn't as good at something told somebody who was better than at it that they were better at it, they wouldn't get offended, because they know in reality that's not true. So the point is, you have control. You can make it better, or you can make it worse. Don't blame anybody. If you blame anybody, then you're definitely going to be a victim, and you're definitely not going to be in control. Because basically, when you play the victim, you're saying that you don't have the power over it. You're a victim. God told you do have the power over it, and so quit being a victim. Cain answered and said to Abel, There is neither judgment nor judge, nor another world, nor will good reward be given to the righteous, nor vengeance be taken of the wicked. Cain's like, this is all BS. There's nothing. Kind of sounds familiar, right? There's no God. There's no religion. All of this is just random. Kind of sounds like something to me. And Abel answered and said to Cain, There is a judgment, and there is a judge, and there is another world. Don't ever forget that. Like, we live in this world, there's another world. God is up there, and a world that's more real than us. And it's going to come here one day, and we're going to experience that. And a good reward given to the righteous, and vengeance taketh of the wicked. So when you do good, you're rewarded good. When you do wickedly, you're going to be paid well for your wickedness, and it's not going to be good pay. And because these words, they have contention upon the face of the field, and Cain arose against Abel, his brother, and drave a stone into his forehead, and killed him. And the Lord said to Cain, Where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I the keeper of my brother? And he said, What hast thou done? The voice of the bloods of the murder of thy brother, which are swallowed up in the sod, crieth before me from the earth. And now because thou hast killed him, thou art cursed from the earth, which hath opened the mouth, and received the bloods of thy brother from the ground. When thou tillest the earth, it shall not add to give strength unto the fruits for thee. A wanderer and an exile shall thou be in the earth. And Cain said before the Lord, more heavy is my rebellion than can be borne. Yet is there power before thee to forgive it. Behold, thou hast cast me forth today from the face of the earth and from before thee. It is possible. Is it possible to be hidden? And because I am a wanderer and an exile in the earth, any just one who findeth me will kill me. And the Lord said to him, behold now, anyone who killeth Cain, unto 7 generations vengeance shall be taken of him. And the Lord sealed up the face of Cain, and the mark of the great of the name great and honorable, that anyone who might find him should not kill him when he saw it upon him. Interesting stuff. 7 generations. So we're way past that by now, right? But very interesting. You can see right away Cain and Abel were 2 completely different beings. And 2 completely different way. One was just born rebellious from the start. Continuing on. If thou makest thy work good in this world, will it not be forgiven and remitted thee in the world to come? So everybody, let's start doing the right thing. It's simple. We all know what the right thing is. Let's quit fighting it. Let's start doing it, okay? But if thou does not make thy work good in this world, thy sin is retained unto the day of the great judgment. And at the door of thy heart it lieth. Yet into thy hand have I delivered power over evil passion, and to thee may be dominion over it, to become righteous or to sin. And Cain said to Abel his brother, come, let us go forth upon the face of the field. This is a rereading of what we just read, but let's just read it again for emphasis. And it was when they had gone out upon the face of the field, Cain answered and said to Abel his brother, there is neither judgment nor judge, nor another world, neither a good reward given to the righteous, nor will vengeance be taken of the wicked. Nor was the world created in goodness, nor in goodness it is conducted. Therefore, it is that the oblation was accepted with goodwill, and mine not accepted with goodwill. Abel answered and said to Cain, there is a judgment, and there is a judge. There is another world, and a good reward is given to the righteous, and vengeance taken on the wicked. And in goodness was the world created, and in goodness it is conducted. But according to the fruit of good works is it conducted. Because my works were better ordered than thine, my offering was accepted with goodwill. And thine was not accepted with goodwill, as they 2 disputed on the face of the field, Cain arose against Abel his brother and killed him. The voice of thy blood of the multitude of the righteous who were to arise from Abel thy brother. And Cain said before the Lord, my sins are greater than can be borne. Nevertheless, there is a power before thee to absorb and to forgive me. And Cain went out before the Lord and dwelt in the land of the wandering of his exile, which had been made for him from before, as the Garden of Eden. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Hanok. And he builded a city, and he called the name of the city after the name of the son, Hanok. And Cain went out from the Lord and dwelt in the land of... And this is another repeating. Again, I think this one says Jerusalem, so maybe some of the versions, the Aramaic, and some of it's the Palestinian Targum, but I think it's cool if it's meant to be repeated. I'm just going to read it twice, but we're not crazy. It's happening again. And Cain went out from before the Lord and dwelt in the land of exile and wandering eastward of the Garden of Eden. And it had been before Cain slew Abel his brother that the earth multiplied fruits, as the fruits of the Garden of Eden. But from that time that he sinned and killed his brother, it changed to produce thorns and thistles. And there was born unto Hanok Arad, and Arad begot Machusiel, and Machusiel bet Methusiel, and Methusiel begat Lamech, and Lamech took to him 2 wives. The name of the first was Ada, and the name of the second was Zillah. And Ada bare Javal, and he was the chief of all those who dwell in tents, and are masters of cattle. And the name of his brother Javal was chief of all of those who take part in song, with the lyre and the pipe. And Zillah bare also Tuvalcain, the chief of the artificers, who know the workmanship of brass and iron. And the sister of Tuvalcain was Naomi. She was mistress of elegies and songs. And Lamech said to his wives, Ada and Zillah, Hear my voice, wives of Lamech. Hearken to my voice, for I have not killed a man, that I should be slain for him, neither have I destroyed a young man, on whose account my children should perish. For Cain, who sinned and was converted by repentance, had protection unto 7 generations extended to him, and to Lamech the son of his son, who hath not sinned. It is just that it shall be extended unto 77. And so, I mean, whether he is forgiven or not, the great judgment hasn't happened. I'm not one who can give forgiveness or not, but he believed that his father had forgiveness, and I believe that anybody can have forgiveness. It doesn't matter who it is. You can change your heart today, and you can live for the Lord, and you can have forgiveness. God is good. And Adam knew his wife, and at the end of 130 years after Abel had been slain, and she bare a son, and called his name Seth. And here it's actually spelled with a S-H, Sheth. For she said, The Lord have given me another son instead of Abel, whom Cain slew. And to Sheth also was born a son, and he called his name Enosh. That it was the generation in those days that began to err, and to make themselves idols, and surname their idols by the name of the word of the Lord. So quickly, they went from being up in a different world in the Garden of Eden and cast down here, and already worshiping idols, already putting things above God. It's crazy. Okay, chapter 5, everybody, and I think I'm going to read chapter 5, and then we're going to start over at 6 on the next video. It's a short chapter. This is the book of the genealogy of man. In the day that the Lord created man, in the likeness of the Lord he made him. Male and female he created them, and blessed them in the name of his word. And he called their name man in the day they were created. And Adam lived 130 years, and begot Sheth, who hath the likeness of his image, and of his similitude. For before had Hava born Cain, who was not like to him. And Abel was killed by his hand, and Cain was cast out, neither his seed genealized in the book of the genealogy of Adam. But afterwards there was born one like him, and called his name Sheth. Now, see, that seems to put it pretty clear that Adam did not consider Cain part of his genealogy, and neither did the scriptures ever. Cain was a son of Eve, but Adam never claimed him as his son. And that's really important to know, especially with the belief system that there are 2 seed lines here on this earth. But afterwards, there were born one like him. So this time, he had another son that was born, and it looked like him. Like, there was nothing to the likeness of Cain to his father, because Cain wasn't his father. Jerusalem 800 years, and in those years he begot sons. Oh, sorry, I skipped over something. But afterwards there was born one like him, and he called his name Seth. And the days of Adam after he begot Seth were 800 years, and he begot sons and daughters 800 years. And in those years he begot sons and daughters, and he died and was gathered from the midst of the world. And all the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died. And Enosh lived 90 years and begot Kenan. And Enosh lived after he had begot Kenan 850 years, begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Enosh were 905 years, and he died. And Kenan lives 70 years and begot Mahalalel. And Kenan lived after he had begot Mahalalel 840 years, and he begot sons and daughters. These guys were getting old back then, all right? And all the days of Kenan were 910 years. That's pretty old. And he died. And Mahalalel lived 65 years and begot Jared. And Mahalalel lived after he had begotten Jared 830 years and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Mahalalel were 895 years, and he died. And Jared lived 162 years and begot Hanok. And Jared lived after he begot Hanok 800 years and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Jared were 962 years, and he died. And Hanok lived 65 years and begot Methuselah. Man, imagine having a kid when you're 65. And Hanok worshipped in truth before the Lord after he had begotten Methuselah 300 years and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Hanok with the sojourners of the earth were 365 years. And Hanok served in truth. Oh, this is Enoch, but they're calling him Hanok. But Hanok served in truth, Enoch, before the Lord. And behold, he was not with the sojourners of the earth, for he was withdrawn. And he ascended to the firmament by the word before the Lord. So Enoch is such a cool character in the Bible. He served the Lord for so long, and he wanted to spend more and more time with the Lord, and he started spending half the time with the Lord, and then he'd only come out like once a week, and then he would only come out once a month, and then like once every few months, and then once every year, and then eventually he just went on to be with the Lord. But such a special honor, nobody else was taken like this. And his name was called Metatron, the great Saphra. And this is another version. And Hanok served in the truth before the Lord, and behold, he was not, for he was withdrawn by the word from before the Lord. And Methuselah lived 187 years and begot Lamech. And Methuselah lived after he had begot Lamech 782 years and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Lamech were 902 and 69 years. I don't know what that means. We're 902 and 69 years. I'll have to move on. And he died, and Lamech lived and he called his name Noah. Noah means consultation, or can mean, saying, "This shall console us for our works that are not prosperous, and for the labor of our hands with the earth, which the Lord hath cursed on the account of the guilt of the sons of men." And Lamech lived after he had begotten Noah 595 years, and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Lamech were 777 years. Lucky guy. And he died, and Noah was the son of 500 years, and Noah begot Shem, Ham, and Japheth. But here it's spelled like Cham and Japheth. All right, everybody. I hope y'all are having a beautiful and blessed day. We're going to start back tomorrow with chapter 6 in the Aramaic and Palestinian Targum. God is good every single day. God loves you. He loves you so much that he sent his son to die for you. Don't get any better than that. I love you guys. God bless.